everybody, welcome to Keeper's Corner. We are back with another bucket load of goalkeeper analysis, whether it's goals that have gone in which we think they could have done a little bit better, world-class saves, and today, Watto, we got a historical goal.
And honestly, this is going to be the best clip we've ever analysed.
Could get a bit spicy, this one. Before we get into it, though, can I just direct your attention to the link down below? I am riding from London to Paris for cure leukemia in June, and we have got... It's a good raffle, isn't it, Watto?
Some great giveaways.
Some great giveaways. Click the link down below. It'll take you to the raffle site. Really, really easy to enter. And 100% of everything goes to the charity, Watto.
Can't beat that.
Sweet as that, isn't it? Right, let's get into it. This historical goal I was talking about is Manchester United at home against Man City. It was 2009. Yours truly is in goal, Ben Foster. Thankfully, we won the game 4-3, Watto.
Always in these situations... If you've got somebody like Michael Owen up front who can save you bacon,
exactly.
It helps.
Thank you, Michael Owen. Right, let's talk about it then. It is a Craig Bellamy goal.
Yep.
Rio Ferdinand gives the ball away on the halfway line. Bellamy absolutely blazes in for pace. Foster, a young, beardless Foster. Oh, what am I doing, Watto?
Well, you talk me through it because it's interesting. It would be great, actually, if Rio would come on and dissect this first part of
From
it.
From his perspective, yeah.
A little flipped pass just to offer Man City a quick transition and counter-attack. But for me, it's what your position is now.
Yeah.
So you can see already Ferdinand's in big trouble.
Yeah.
So it's what your thought process is. As we see you just coming onto the screen, you're thinking he's in trouble, I assume.
Yes, I'm thinking exactly that. Little Craig Bellamy, the last person that Rio Ferdinand wants running in behind him is a Craig Bellamy. He's absolutely rapid. He kind of exposed Rio a little bit here. I think I've just got a little bit too interested too soon. I think I've come way too far out of my goal. I think Rio was actually doing a really good job of trying to kind of push him wide.
Yeah.
And I've just come and got involved in something I didn't really need to get that far out into so soon, did I?
Not at that early point. And I think you're creeping into that low position. But because you're so low and as you eloping into into you're trying to get into a diving position, he's always in good control of the ball,
yeah.
Bellamy. And he never had a real big movement to his left. At that point, at some point, you've got to stop and give yourself a chance and Rio a chance.
Yes.
I think because you're always moving, you made it easy for him. The only question I think to you is, when he moves, eventually takes it to his left, and you're full stretch to your right, you're surely thinking at that point, the ball's got to be out, the goal's covered.
Yeah, I kind of did. And I remember diving thinking, there's no way he can put it in the goal from here. And he didn't take the shot as quickly as what I thought he was going to take it. So he let the ball roll a little bit more. I've already really committed to the dive, almost dived too soon, really. And he's just been left with a bit of an open goal and just slid it in nicely. It was horrible, though, this game. I remember it, like I say, we won the game 4-3, which was fantastic, but I had an absolute stinker of a game. I made a big mistake early doors from, I think it was Gareth Barry that put the ball in the back of the net. I had the ball on the edge of the box. Carlos Tevez shut me down. It was horrible. So it got off to a bad start for me and then never really, really recovered. It was one of those where... it really affected me, that game, and I think I carried that on till later on the game.
I think that's the test of all goalkeeping, though, isn't it? But I think when you see the angle and when you're at full stretch, you would never, ever imagine that he's gonna... Because he doesn't really do anything with the ball.
No, he doesn't.
And you can see with your movement here, it's... You know, the flexibility, the dynamics, everything's there, but it's because you're walking out quickly towards him and your angles are just off, that the ball's still running, and at full tilt, he's actually never manipulated it enough to beat you.
No.
You just... What happens with goalkeeping is when you see one of your teammates who you know's made a mistake, you're trying to think, right, I'm going to bail you out here, but by trying to help him out in this very fine moment, you actually hurt yourself.
You do, yeah. You gotta stick to what you know you can do. Look after yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Right, should we move on though? Yeah.
I think so. The only thing I'd like to know is what Sir Alex said after the game.
He was not happy, mate. He was not happy. I think that was the last game I played for Man United for a while. Let's put it that way, okay? Like I say, thankfully we won though, all right? Buzzing, Manchester Derby. I think that's probably the last time they won it in Manchester Derby. Right, Watto, let's go to yesterday's North London Derby. Arsenal, fantastic win for them, 3-2. But I want to talk in particular about Bukayo Saka's goal. It made it 2-0 at the time. Poor Ben Davies is getting dragged all over the shop. I don't think he was really even expecting to be playing today. But in this position here, Ben Davies basically cannot show Bukayo Saka inside, can he? He has to just keep showing him outside. Has to just keep showing him outside. If he scores with his right foot from here, fair dues. But do not let him open up the goal and bring it inside, right?
No, I think we're doing this show primarily to talk about the goalkeepers and positions and everything else. But here's a real prime example of a defender not really helping you at all. Vicario works back very, very quickly because he's been in a high start position, which we've spoke about before. He gets into a good position, but then Ben Davies now has absolutely killed him because he's opened the goal up. But if you're Vicario in goal, the only chance here, as soon as he opens him up and puts him inside is, you've got to read that situation. If he reverses it through Ben Davies's legs and it goes into the near post, you say, Ben, look,
hold your hands up.
Come on, mate. You've showed him inside. But the only way you have a semi-chance of saving that ball is you have to go early. Because he opens the goal up, it's just a pass into the corner.
This frame here is perfect. This frame here where it's freeze-framed on Saka, just literally kicking the ball, right? Vicario's body weight is exactly, it's like completely flat still, not one side, not the other. But in this position here, I would expect my goalkeeper to be leaning onto his right side a little bit because it's obvious that that's the only place that it's going. I think this is where, as a goalie, you need to smell this a little bit. You need to really read Bukayo Saka's body language. It's very obvious he's putting it into that far corner. Even if you take a little half step and you're already on your way down there, like you say, if he cuts this back here and it goes through Ben Davies' legs and goes in that near post, I think you hold your hands up and go, you know what, he's done us both here. He's done us both.
But you know, because you've played at the top level, it doesn't matter if that's a conference game. If somebody's passing it past you and you're at 2.5 yards and he's passing it past you from 8 yards, that's 5.5 yards to react. And he's not even hit it hard.
Yeah, that's
you
the bit,
you can't get there. You can see that. You have to go early.
Yeah.
It's like a penalty. You've got to go because you've got to have a chance. He's not even hit it hard. He knows if he passes that past Ben Davies' leg, if the goalie doesn't go, he's got no chance. And we talk on this show so much about little fine details. This is the top level. It's the top level. But if he's got any chance to save that, he's got to go early and he's got to read the situation.
He's got to go early. We always talk about goalies being set and making sure you're able to go either way, which way. But there's certain times that when it gets to such close distances like this, that you have to be sort of half set, really. Semi-set, on your way there already.
And it's the experience to read the game. Yeah. Always here, Ange Postecoglou, after the game, will be very, very critical of Ben Davies. Very critical.
For sure.
But if you go in the analysis room where you try and debrief and talk about minute details where the goalie could actually have saved Ben's bacon here, it's about just knowing that that's it.
Yeah.
And going early. And do you know what? He's an incredible goalie, Vicario, and he might just have saved it. But if you wait for the ball to pass Ben Davies' right foot,
you aren't saving it.
You ain't.
You are not saving it. Right, let's have a look at the third goal in this game then. It was a corner to Arsenal. The ball ended up actually being headed from about, I think it's about 2.5, 3 yards, Watto. Look at this. Ben White has done a fantastic job of marking Vicario. But the problem we've got here is that Vicario just allows it. One, he hasn't got any defender involved to try and take him away. But two, he's allowed himself to be marked, hasn't he?
I think when you see this, that's a real good example in terms of the height on the ball. Because, look, when the ball leaves his foot, you're just still dealing with a Ben White situation. Yeah. But when you see that ball is so high, that's probably 10 feet high.
Yeah.
And at that point, you've got a zonal setup. And they leave White on you. Yeah. So they're basically saying, you're 6'4", we're leaving White on you. If that ball's not flat, we need some help here.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal are very, very good at set plays. This is the second goal they've conceded in the game from a corner. So your senses should be heightened after the first one. White's been messing with him all game. But that's part of goalkeeping, is messing with his gloves. You have to deal with that. And your teammates need you. That is the perfect clip now, because if you put that same scenario on in training and he sees the ball above the heads, he's coming for that ball because he has to come for the ball. Yeah. Now he's got to make a decision, catch, parry, punch, whatever he wants to do. But look here, his hands can't react because they've dropped a little bit. He's already behind the goal line. The ball hits the back of the net before he has any reaction time.
His right foot's behind the goal line as the ball goes in. The problem for me is that he's allowed himself to be marked by Ben White. What I think what you need to do in this situation, if you're not going to get a defender to try and take him away, is you as a goalkeeper need to start 2 steps out from your goal.
It starts here.
He starts on his line.
Ben White gives him a bounce.
Yeah.
But you've got to be fighting against that because if you allow the first bounce there, your momentum's finished. So now you can see his body. He's done because he can't come back to go forward.
No, and it happens so fast as well. By the time that ball leaves Declan Rice's foot, it's in that box in less than a second. In less than a second. That one bounce is enough. Ben White there must be thinking, I've got him exactly where I want him. No defender's trying to take me off. I can pin him. He's out of the game here.
But that's the point. But the situation is this. Vicario goes through this situation, match day -1, 50 times a year. That's their setup. There's always somebody on him. He has to do more.
Yeah.
He has to do more.
Do you think a bit of advice here would be to say to Vicario, start 2 yards off your goal line, okay? Or even 3 yards off your goal line. If you end up sinking another yard or another step, cool. But start there. Do not allow yourself to be pinned on the goal line.
Look, it's a very dangerous situation. It's obviously quality. It's an in-swinging ball. But you have to do something so you're not pinned inside it.
Yeah, sure.
So it's very hard. At some point, if he starts at 2 or 3 yards, he might not be able to get into a position. But it's obvious then if White becomes the other side of him, then White's in real trouble in terms of the offside position. But if you just allow him to block you and bounce you on the first one, it's finished. Yeah. At that point, that ball's in the air there. His team want him to be on his front foot, 2 steps forward, driving and trying to punch and get any contact.
Because that's what it would be. You're not collecting that one there, by the way. You are coming out and you're punching
You're just trying to punch.
But you're helping your teammates out. You've given you a chance to help your teammates out.
But it's probably a yard in front of the near post, and it's, like I said, 10 foot high. When the ball's that high, and they have momentum into it, because you're zonal and you're pretty set and they've all come from behind you, it's very difficult. The goalie has to be more proactive here. It is impossible to say that ball's got to hit you somehow to keep it out. But on these situations, you've got to be on the front foot, you've got to be strong with whoever's on you, and you've got to be looking to come and help your teammates. And that is front foot goalkeeping and trying really at some point here to get any contact on that ball.
OK, Watto, let's go to Old Trafford. It's the 87th minute. Onana comes out to try and punch it, to try and help his team out. It's a horrible headed back pass from Casemiro. He ends up getting nowhere near the ball and absolutely punches the head off of Amdouni for Burnley.
Yeah, I think, look, Man United winning 1-0, you come to the 87th minute. Casemiro's made a...
Oh, it's horrible. What are you doing?
It's a horrible mistake, but then, obviously, here you can see Maguire and Wan-Bissaka trying to defend the situation, and because of his start position, he just can't ever get there.
He's too far away, the goal.
He's too far away. And yes, I think because it's looped up, you'd expect 9 out of 10 that he's going to be able to come and deal with it. But he's made his decision too late. He can't get there. And unfortunately for him, it's the right decision. And VAR have made the correct call.
It's a penalty all day long. The problem I've got here is that I don't know why Onana's coming and getting involved in this, because the header back, don't get me wrong, it's an awful header. Casemiro has absolutely killed Man United here, right? It's an awful header back. But the header back is so high and loopy and slow that if Amdouni does get the first contact on that, he's not going to be headering it anywhere near the goal. You're not going to be threatened as the ball going directly into the back of the net there. So as a goalie, I think you have to look at that situation and go, do you know what? I can see Maguire heading towards it. I can see Wan-Bissaka, who's got an incredible leap on him anyway. I'll trust you two. I'll back you two to be able to deal with this. And if the ball does drop down because Amdouni gets it, I'd like to back myself that I can be on the front foot to go and smother it as well.
No, I think you're spot on. I think ultimately goalkeeping's a lot about decision making. So Casemiro makes a real poor decision. But at that point, you've still got time to make your decision. You see 2 of your teammates going towards the ball. Yeah. If anything happens from that with your 2 teammates and the Burnley player, you have to be ready for the secondary ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not getting involved in the first ball because you've got too far to go. But at the point here, he's already made his decision and he's just coming, and he knows he's wrong there. First game of the season, he got away with it against Wolves.
Yep. But this goes to show now, I hear commentators saying it still is, I just want to see my goalie come out and take everything there. You can't take the players anymore. You can't come and take everything. No. You've got to get the ball, right? And it's as simple as that. If you get the ball there and he punches it and then he collides, brilliant, fantastic. But you are not just coming out and taking everything nowadays, because as we've seen already this season, they'll be given penalties for this, and rightly so as well.
But the biggest point you make is, it's the poor decision. But there is nothing going to happen here.
I know.
There's going to be a secondary header there and a knockdown, and it's going to get cleared. You don't have to get involved.
Yeah.
Trust your teammates. If the knockdown comes and you have to make a reaction save, or it's a flick on and you're on the front foot, you take the second ball.
Yeah.
As soon as you make that decision, obviously, if you don't touch the ball, you're risking everything. And in the modern game, it's a foul, and unfortunately for him, they dispatched the penalty and took a point.
It's a great point for Burnley. All right, let's go to St James's Park then. It's Alexander Isak's first goal. It's the equaliser in the game, and it's Wes Foderingham in goal for Sheffield United. Watto, he looks a little bit like he's in kind of no man's land here a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, in this situation, it's the first clip here is unbelievable. You've got your two wing-backs high and you've got three centre-halves. And yet Isak gets on the ball. So he's thinking, how is this possible? But when you're playing in goal for Sheffield United, here you've got two choices. You either come and get right involved in it and you've got to be right on him as he has his contact, or you're back 3 yards and giving yourself some reaction time.
Yeah.
In the end for me, and this is why we do this show, and it's been hypercritical, he's in no man's land, and then from no man's land, the weight transfers all on his heels, and he can't shoot his right leg out to make a save. But he's in a position where it's very difficult to make a save because he's got no time.
You know, an interesting thing you said there, where he's on his heels. It's a massive point, because the fact that he's on his heels, Watto, means that he can't kick his leg out to get the block. So the ball actually just rolls past his right foot, just past his right boot. But because all the weight is on his heels and those studs are dug into the ground, you cannot kick your leg out.
No, you can see it's
to get the save.
It's just a collapse of the right leg. If he could have got a millisecond of a shootout, he actually saves it.
Yeah.
But because he's in the in-between position, and he's probably thinking, if I'm not coming, I feel vulnerable here because I've lost my bearings in the goal a little bit, but he's got his weight transfers all wrong. You can see here, because normally from that position, if he was set and his shoulders are above his knees, he can shoot the right leg and he saves it.
Yeah.
But you can see if you could draw him back 4 yards and he's level with a post, the whole situation's different, and the goal's never ever going to happen.
You buy yourself so much more time, reaction time. You'd back yourself. This is where, as goalkeepers, sometimes you need to be so kind of just making the right decisions is so important. Not to get too excited, not to get drawn into something. Yeah. I even think here that if he is another 3 or 4 steps back or yards back, the defender would fancy a chance of getting a block in or a tackle in or a little slide tackle or something. But I think Foderingham's position makes up Isak's mind for him. So Isak takes a quick glance at the goalkeeper, lets the ball keep running across him and think, do you know what, I can just blast this here. If I blast this in the corner, I've got a good chance of it going in.
Absolutely.
But if Foderingham is further back, he might have to take another touch. He might have to get a little bit closer. That's where he can get a blocking from the defender. But I think he just makes it all too easy for Alexander Isak here.
At some point, you've got to trust the defenders. Sheffield United play with 3 centre-halves. If you're not coming for the original ball, you now know for a fact that you've got 2v1 against him. He's in the wrong side of them, but let them put some pressure on. You buy yourself some recovery time, buy them some recovery time, and as the angle tightens for him and the pressure becomes on him, it's a tougher finish. You're just giving yourself the percentages for it to be in your favour. At the minute for this, it should never be in his favour. Yes, the defenders are really poor, but you're not then helping your defenders because you've not given yourself the best chance to make the save. And ultimately, look, it's a great finish. It's across him in the corner. But I think on a goalkeeping drill, if you put that on the training ground and you struck the ball from where he struck it and you were in a goalkeeping position that we're just talking about, level with your post and the semi-pressure on, you're saving 99 out of 100.
I think so too. This is incredible analysis, by the way. This is not being critical of goalkeepers, by the way. It is, again, just trying to help you guys out. We are talking minute details here. Again, all I ever do is if I see a goal go in, I think, would Watto have me in his office tomorrow morning and would he say, you could do better there? That's what I do. Honestly, that is the bar. That is the gauge of it. And the goals that we are talking about are ones where I think Watto would have me in the office for that. Right, let's go back to the North London derby then. We are talking about a Spurs goal this time. David Raya in goal for Arsenal. And it was the first goal for Spurs, which kind of Yeah, it kind of got it a bit spicy, didn't it? It kind of opened the game up a little bit. It's a poor bit of goalkeeping, really. He's tried to pick out a pass and hasn't really committed to it, has he?
It made a game of it for sure, but I think when we're doing this show and we're trying to educate goalies of all standards and young kids, older goalies, I think this is the modern game. All your coaches, whoever you play for, at whatever level, we all watch the Premier League, you watch international football, and we all want as goalies to be able to play with his feet. That's a given. So this clip is the first time we've really broke something down where the goalie's in charge. He's got the ball at his feet. At Tottenham on a really aggressive press, it's a semi-press for me.
Yeah.
There's nobody within 5 yards of him. But if you try and play as a goalie through the lines, the picture closes up very quickly. So he's thought about playing a left foot pass, but then all of a sudden there's 4 Tottenham guys wanting you to play inside the lines. Yeah. So at the point he changes his mind, he tries to clip it. It's very simple, and I think for the education and for your learning, if you go back to the fact when he's got the ball at his feet, even if you want to play through the lines there and it's tight, just know for a fact, if your team are coached well or you're under massive pressure, just drop the ball to your left and expect your left side centre-half, or worst scenario, your left side full-back can come and get it. Don't play and force balls in the middle.
Well, not
That's
like that.
what the opposition want.
If a ball has come from this side, the out ball is that side.
Always the outside.
That's where the players are going to be. That's where people are going to be. It's going to be congested. That's where people want you to play it back. The opposition want you to play it back into there. What they don't want is you to keep it going over there, because then they have to run all the way over there. So to play it back into that middle, to play through the gaps like that, it's so hard, because every one of those Tottenham players know exactly where that ball's
and they're
going
all on the front.
They've read Raya's body language. You can see Romero, before the ball is even played from Raya, he's already on his way over that side, because he's watching Raya, he's watching his eyes, watching his body shape, and he's like, whoa, you're going to try and play this in
And
here.
I just think, as a goalie, or you're thinking about your coach, your manager on the side, he's going to be really upset because you've not played a good pass to the left side centre-half, or it's not playing through the lines. Forget that. Read the game, see where all the press is coming, and do you know what? You've got a safe option always, but don't go back inside there.
Nope.
Because you can open up left side centre-half, left side full-back, or you can even see he's got a diagonal on. So I think he's compounded his own mistakes there. But like for me here, when he's made the mistake, he's obviously in no man's land a little bit.
Yeah.
But the ball's a difficult ball really for Romero, because it's not just laying at his feet, but Raya's gone and thought, I've got to go early to make the save here. Whereas I actually think if he would have stood and held up a little bit, I think he might have been able to make the save, because he didn't have the control of the football. But in that one moment where he's made the big mistake in terms of the pass, he's thinking, right, I've got to make this big save here. But unfortunately for him, he's guessed and gambled, and it's worked against him. I actually think, trust it's a centre-half, but if he could read that it's a centre-half on the ball and it's bobbling, that in the heat of that moment, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Because I just think at the minute, he's thinking, right, I've just got to try and make a save. But if you go back to the start of it, don't play inside the line there. Make the other players run more for you to get in better positions. But you've got to have clear spaces in between to really play quickly through the lines.
You know, one of the best bits of advice I was ever given, Watto, is if in doubt, put it in row Z, yeah? And there is a time and a place for it. It's 3-0, you're cruising, it's the North London derby. If they're pressing you like that, do you know what? They can't score from row Z, Watto. They cannot score from row Z. It's as simple as that. Right, should we have a look at some world-class saves?
That would be...
Let's have a look at some world-class saves, Watto. We've got to start with... Jordan Pickford.
Yeah. Well,
can I say, by the way, at the moment, Jordan Pickford's on absolute flames. Yeah. Keeping his team in games at big moments, making fantastic smother saves, block saves, and there's no surprise really that Everton have, got themselves to safety now, and they've kept a ridiculous amount of clean sheets.
Fantastic.
As well.
What I really like about this, from a coaching point, is he obviously can see and read the danger. When the pass is first played, he's thinking that's mine in between me and my two centre-halves.
Fantastic ball. It's a fantastic
But then he realises very quickly, and this is how many times you have to make microscopic decisions in milliseconds, he can't get the ball. And then at that point, it's all the work you've done throughout your whole career. Start position, right, I'm reading it, I'm going to help my team.
Oh, what a ball. What a ball, by the way.
Oh, incredible. Oh. But I can't now get it. So I can't now keep attacking the ball. I've got to flatten off.
Flatten.
And at that point, all I can do is spread, make myself as big as possible, Hand shape's good, head position's good, and he hopes Tony just gives him a chance, which he does. But then the secondary bit, I've not made my save and I'm going to go and celebrate. No, the ball's still in play. Secondary action. So massive save, up, quick, boom, mine. Now you can breathe.
It's lovely. It's
It's
lovely.
absolutely phenomenal. And that's one a season. One every 2 seasons.
It is, isn't it? It's incredible. When them ones hit you, because at that moment of time when Tony's about to put it, if he gets the cleanest finish and puts it into his bottom left-hand corner here, you hold your hands up and you say, fair dues, right? But it's a tough finish for him, especially when you've got a defender coming across, your goalie's coming across, it's all in your eye line, heat of the moment, heat of the battle. But for Jordan Pickford here, he's thinking, I'm just going to make myself as big as I possibly can. I'm going to come and try and smother this. And when that ball hits you there, you go, oh, get in there, you little winner.
But that's the work that you've done on the training ground 1,000 times. And maybe 900 of them in the training go past you because that's just you creating a moment and a drill.
Pickford's his feet here, by the way, how quick they are coming across his goal. That's the bit for me is when you realise that you can't come for that first ball, then you have to change and go, right, I'm going to have to cover as much ground as I possibly can, try and make the smother, hopefully it hits me.
He's done unbelievable there. But that's hours and hours of repetition work on the training ground, waiting for that one moment. And that's their one moment. And in the end, 1-0 win at home, clean sheet, kept him in the Premier League for another season. But to be fair to him, he's head and shoulders as the best England goalie at the minute, for sure.
All right, then, Watto, final clip of the show. We spoke about an Onana mistake earlier on where he came out and punched the life out of Anduni. We've got to talk about this save here. This is a big save, isn't it?
Yeah,
massive save.
Massive save. And it's the save of the weekend for me.
It is, isn't it?
It'll be one of the saves of the season. And look, we're not here to bash the goalies, and it's always easy to be critical. But here, if you look at the work he does to produce this save, it's a good header from Wan-Bissaka at the back post. He can't get much purchase. Free shot. You can see here his body transfer. He's trying to get in for the shot. But what he does manage to do is he never drops his hands too low.
Yeah.
That's the key to making the save. And he manages to get a weight transfer from his right leg onto his left. But if it ever, at any point, dropped his hands low,
Ain't getting nowhere near it.
It's
that when the ball is coming that quickly, so it gets crossed from there, and then it going back across you as well. Yeah. It's so hard to keep your body weight stable and keep in control of it all, and then also to be in control of your arms as well, and to have them up there as well. But then to execute it and put the arm out and make the save, and that's a strong left hand, by the way. That's a really strong left hand.
I was fortunate enough to be at the game live, and in real time.
It's like a flash.
It's
a flash, isn't it?
Astonishing save.
Yeah.
And it's like we say on a lot of these, it's millisecond moments that can make you a hero or a zero. Yeah. But here, he transfers his weight across. Now he's got to change again. But if you're talking about the technicalities of it, he's quick across the goal back to his right, but he's able to transfer his body weight now and get that push. But again, the save really is more of his hand position. If he'd have ever dropped the hand position...
You're not getting it up in time.
You're never getting it up. And I talk about it a lot. When that ball's going to be headed or volleyed, you cannot drop your hands low.
No.
Because the contact, 9 out of 10, is coming waist to head high past you. And it is an astonishing save. And to be fair to him, when you see the reaction of his own teammates and the Burnley players, I think it tells you everything. And again... hours and hours of work on the training ground for that one moment.
This just goes to show the importance of footwork, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Footwork, contacts, little contacts, being in control of every single one of them, body weight, body shape. You can talk about the save and the actual hand and that, but it all comes from incredible footwork and being in control of it all at the same time.
But the key for all young goalies or any goalie listening, you can't make any save with your hands unless your feet put you in a position to make the save. Yeah. Then we'll talk about hand shape and all the other things. But if your feet never get you in a good position or you're in the wrong position, you'll never make the save. But I would look, if I were the goalie coach for Onana here, I would have a still image of 17's reaction from the header, from the save, and then I would just keep that on the wall for a little while.
That on the wall.
And just see that position there.
Oh, that's what it's for.
That's your win.
That's what it's for. There you go, Watto. Good saves come from great feet. It's as simple as that, right? There you go. That was Keeper's Corner. Watto, as always,
Magnificent.
You are the
Hopefully
boy.
not a mistake from you next week.
We can find plenty of them, mate. I promise you that. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. Get in the comments down below. As always, let us know what you thought of the show and any comments about how we can improve it as well. We've already bought ourselves like one of those massive TVs where we can draw lines on it and stuff. It's coming soon, all right? See you next week.